Diabetes mellitus, type 2 diabetes, the con of the century. The medication, insulin, pre-diabetes, insulin resistance, and the kidneys. We have a multi-billion-dollar industry that is killing people right and left, just for financial gain. The idea of research is to see whether 2 doses of this poison is better than 3 doses of that poison. Glenn A. Warner, MD. Many physicians had considerable success in treating this disease through diet. A great deal was learned about the relationship between diet and diabetes in the 1930s and 1940s. Had the dietary insights of the previous 20 years dominated the medical scene from this point and into the late 1960s, diabetes would have become widely recognized as curable instead of merely treatable. Instead, in 1950, a search was launched for another wonder drug to deal with the type 2 diabetes problem. Metformin. When the insulin levels are unable to keep up with the increasing resistance, blood sugars rise and your doctor diagnoses you with type 2 diabetes and starts you on a pill such as metformin. But metformin does not get rid of the sugar. Instead, it simply takes the sugar from the blood and rams it back into the liver. The liver doesn't want it either, so it ships it out to all other organs, the kidneys, the nerves, the eyes, the heart. Much of this extra sugar will also just get turned into fat. The medications only hide the blood sugar by cramming it into the engorged body. The diabetes looks better since you can only see the blood sugars. Patients require ever-increasing doses of medication and yet still suffer with heart attacks, congestive heart failure, strokes, kidney failure, amputations, and blindness. Diabetes only gets worse. Insulin. It is important to note that neither insulin nor any of these oral hypoglycemic agents exerts any curative action whatsoever on any type of diabetes. None of these medical strategies is designed to normalize the cellular uptake of glucose by the cells that need it to power their activity. The prognosis with this treatment is increasing disability and early death from heart or kidney failure or the failure of some or other vital organs. Our Deadly Diabetes Deception by Thomas Smith, also by the same author, Insulin, Our Silent Killer. Medications and insulin do nothing to slow down the progression of this organ damage because they do not eliminate the toxic sugar load from our bodies. We pretended that using medication to lower blood sugar makes people healthier, but it's only been a lie. You cannot use drugs to cure a dietary disease. The following is a demonstration as to what diabetes is and the effects of the medication on a diabetic. These 3 items represents the human body. The sponge represents the major organs, the kidneys, the heart, the eyes, joints, muscles, etc. The vessel with water represents the body's glucose levels. The container in which they both stand represents the body's blood or hemoglobin. On the left we have normal blood glucose levels, commonly known as HbA1c or A1c. On the right we have elevated blood glucose levels, and this is deemed pre-diabetes or a person as a pre-diabetic. Pre-diabetic, pre-diabetes, insulin resistance. Prediabetes is a condition characterized by slightly elevated blood glucose levels, regarded as indicative that a person is at risk of progressing to type 2 diabetes. Such person will be deemed a pre-diabetic. Prediabetes, pre-diabetic, and insulin resistance are terms and a condition coined and created as an excuse to prescribe medication and or insulin. The medication exacerbates or hastens the onset of full-blown diabetes. You are only diabetic if your A1C is 7 or over. An A1C of lower than 7 is not diabetic. If you were diagnosed as a pre-diabetic or insulin resistant, and you have been prescribed medications and/or insulin, ask yourself, why have you been prescribed medication which is the exact same medication prescribed for confirmed diabetics? Then ask a diabetic whether the meds are helping him or her. The answer will be an emphatic no. Over a period of years, you went from pre-diabetes to diabetes to taking one medication, then two, then three, then insulin, and then finally large doses of more insulin. No drugs nor insulin can lower or remove excess glucose from the human body. When blood sugar glucose levels become abnormally high and causes some mild adverse reactions, diabetes is diagnosed and you are prescribed medication which contains metformin and/or insulin. Remember, the sponge represents the major organs of the human body: the kidneys, the nerves, the eyes, the heart, etc. Metformin does not get rid of the sugar or glucose. Instead, it simply takes the sugar from the blood and rams it into the liver. The liver doesn't want it, so it ships it out to all other organs: the kidneys, the nerves, the eyes, the heart. Much of this extra sugar will also just get turned into fat. It is important to note that neither insulin nor any of these oral hypoglycemic agents exerts any curative action whatsoever on any type of diabetes. None of these medical strategies is designed to normalize the cellular uptake of glucose by the cells that need it to power their activity. The medications only hide the blood sugar by cramming it into the engorged body. No drug nor insulin can lower or remove excess glucose from the human body. You cannot use drugs or insulin to cure or reverse a condition caused by diet and lifestyle. The kidneys. It is common knowledge that various commonly used medication, although they may be of benefit to the user in the short term, may however have an adverse effect on the kidneys. There are many well-documented cases in which prescribed medications have caused kidney damage or failure. The leaflets found in the boxes in which these medications are packaged attest to this very fact. Beta cells. We have been told that once beta cells in the kidneys are destroyed, that the kidney function will continue to deteriorate and that the GFR or kidney flow rate will continue to fall, thus resulting in kidney failure and ultimately dialysis. The theory that beta cells die and the theory that the kidneys cannot replenish beta cells that have been destroyed is hogwash or pure conjecture, or at worst, another lie being perpetuated to this day. Latest trends in kidney research have shown that the kidney continues to rejuvenate and heal itself until death. This screenshot depicts a gradual but firm increase in kidney flow rate from 59% to 76%. The increase in kidney flow rates can be firmly attributed to correct diet and the discarding of all medication and using only that which comes from God's garden and God's pharmacy. That kidney flow rates can increase is good news for dialysis patients, for with the correct care and guidance, it is feasible to assume that dialysis patients can possibly wean themselves off of dialysis and free themselves from the machines that dictates the very essence of their lives. You must take charge of the things you do in your life in order to maintain your health. You are fully capable of making the necessary choices to help your body heal. Your health is your primary wealth. Staying healthy and healing yourself is your responsibility alone. Please note, all views and facts as expressed herein are my own unless otherwise stated. I have come to these conclusions after reading extensively about diabetes and after 5 years of interactions with other type 2 diabetics. For sources and disclaimers, feel free to contact the Fridge Guy.